do, here are your commentators, Stuart Pike and Rod Harrington.
So here we go, leg 3 on the World Series tour. We've been to Dubai to see Michael van Gerwen win. In Japan, Phil Taylor took the honours. Who will it be in Perth, with Sydney and Auckland to follow? A terrific triple header of Tungsten coming your way here from Australia and New Zealand. James Wade, newly married James Wade. Congratulations to Wade and his partner Sammy, now his wife of course. They were married just last weekend. And flying straight to Australia. And he's taking on one of the Aussie qualifiers from Perth, Adam Rowe. 48 years of age, but the biggest night of his darting life. A chance to take on one of the very best in the business. James Wade to get us underway.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg,
James. An opportunity for him. We've seen over the last couple of years of World Series darts shocks and upsets. I wonder if we're going to see one here tonight here in Perth. Wade, of course, quite rightly, will be a big favourite. But Raymond van Barneveld and Michael van Gerwen have both lost games here in Australia against opponents that they shouldn't. And what a start this for Rowe.
Well, it's certainly been the local. He's going to get plenty of crowd on his side, Stu, but James Wade coming off that runner-up spot at the World Match Play just a few weeks ago. He should be really at the top of his confidence, as we said so often. Well, there's Sammy. A really word of James Wade. So he should be relaxed coming into this, but full of confidence.
83.
A very patient Mrs. Wade. Mind you, honeymoon in Perth, Sydney and Auckland. But, playing darts on your honeymoon. And James Wade, you know, this is serious for him. He was the first to admit in the interview before the game. He has underachieved in the World Series. He's due a good run. He's due a good win.
Well, he's got to have a good win, Steve. He's got to have a good tournament and a good series, because once we get to November, the top 8 seeds, it may not be one of these World Series seeds. It could be a Whitlock, a Carl Anderson, or anybody else that's going to have a good run. So it's imperative that James Wade, Barneveld and Bunting, all three of those need good tournaments. And I have to say, out of the three, James Wade has the easier of the route. However,
James,
in front of a home crowd, anything can happen. But James Wade, the king of taking out shots like this.
$64.
Yeah, to leave his favourite tops. James Wade between 100 and 120. One of the very best, if not the best. So 8 first-round matches here in Perth. All best of 11. First to 6 for a place in the quarterfinals, and this to win the opening leg. Double 10.
It's on the first leg. James Wade, second leg.
Double that he hits more than any other player in the world.
Well, not the most exciting first legs, but certainly James Wade will be totally happy with that. A double 10 second dart.
70.
It's always nice just to get settled into the game. And now James Wade should be confident, should push on from here. Not the greatest of players to hit 180s, Stu, but he hits a lot of 140s, a lot of 137s.
Well, his opponent, Adam Rowe, truck driver from Perth. Had to play 9 matches to get through the qualifying event to get here. It was a really grueling day last week to get here. Well, talking of 180s, and there we have the first of the tournament, the first of many. James Wade stealing a mark in this second leg.
Yes, and I know we're only in the second leg, but he pushed his average up to just over 100.
96.
Would like to break the throw, Alan Rowe, really early on. But he's got to follow that 180 up at least a ton, which he's going to do.
100.
A good solid follow-up to the maximum. He's going to come back, perhaps with a dart at the bullseye. Alan Rowe really needs minimum straight ton. 140 may give him a dart at the bullseye. 180 may give him 2 darts at double top. Oh, that was unlucky darts. He just deflected off the first 2. But now Wade, because Rowe's on a shot, he's got to go the treble 19. Now the treble 18 will leave him the bullseye.
98.
So a chance for the Australian qualifier.
95.
Adam Rowe, who reached the quarter-finals of the qualifying event 12 months ago, on the big stage. Well, he's gone for 6 double 16. Oh, that's right, brilliant. Well, he had the option, didn't he, to go for the double 19, but that thought was never in his mind. 6 for double 16, and well, they were 6 brilliant darts from the qualifier. The 140 and then the 95 out. James Wade, after that maximum, was a big favourite to win the leg. That's a warning shot across the Wade bows.
It certainly was, and he went the aggressive route on the 95. A lot of people would have gone for the 25-20. And then a dab at the bullseye. Alan Rowe right in there. I was surprised he didn't go for the 19s. What he's done by going for 6, he's only got the 1 dart, but however, it was only 1 dart he needed. This is the second maximum for James Wade. It's one of those 140s that he's so good at. But the hardest thing for Alan Rowe, Stu, is going to be to break the Wade throw.
Well, we've had 8 World Series tournaments since the concept was born back in 2013. 4 have been won by Michael van Gerwen. 4 have been won by Phil Taylor, including the first one here in Perth 12 months ago. So are we going to see a new winner of a World Series event here in Perth this weekend?
Well, this followed Singapore last year, and Phil Taylor had a torrid time. But when he came here in a better mood, and that did set him up for the Sydney Masters as well.
81.
Yeah, he came alive, didn't he? Lost in the first round in Singapore, Taylor, and then won back-to-back World Series events in Perth and in Sydney.
Wade, after 12 darts, is looking at his favourite double top. Up to 105 average at the moment is James Wade. He's just cranking the game up. 13 dart, third leg for James Wade. If he carries on like that on his throw, it's going to be virtually impossible for Alan Rowe. I appreciate a 12 darter would win it, but it's a tough one.
Good start to the leg. Maybe 20 points between them in the averages, but the first 3 legs all going with throw.
Yes, and Wade 4 140s already, 180. Starting to crank it up. It's not going to go away. Apologies for calling him the wrong name earlier on, Stuart, but
He's a decent player, you know, Rowe. Western Australian state champion 2 years on the row. Number 1 here in Western Australia for many, many years, Adam Rowe.
when you've come for a qualifier, you've had to play 9 events, 9 players, and there's a lot of good talent here in Australia, so he's had to play extremely well. So he's going to come here against James Wade. He's not going to be frightened. Although James Wade, an 8-time major winner, I don't know, not scared of him. And it's those 140s that James Wade keeps throwing that does wear his opponents down. That's what beat Phil Taylor in the match semi-final.
Well, one of the performances of the year for me when Wade beat Taylor in Blackpool. The World Match Play
60.
Widely regarded as the second biggest tournament in world darts after the World Championship itself. Brilliant win by Wade in the semi-finals against Taylor, but lost in the final to Michael van Gerwen. Never really
57.
could hit the heights of his performance of that semi-final, but a class act without a shadow of a doubt. Well, he took out 95, did Rowe to win the second leg. Needs the treble. So a chance here for Wade to
60.
break through. He will normally look at treble 8 to leave tops. That's his favoured route. Oh, that's a fantastic dart.
And
so is that. Well, that's why he is one of the best in the business. 2 darts, take that, break of throw. 3-1, James Wade is on his way.
Well, 13-14 are the darts used. Last 2 legs for Wadey. Started off with a 17 dart, well under 100, but pushing up to just under 103 average now. And you would think from here that Wadey, with his experience, should try and kick on. This is where they put in the sucker punch, the professionals, but Adam Rowe needs to break the way through straight away.
100.
Winner of this to play Peter Wright or Paul Nicholson in the quarter-final on Saturday here in Perth. Convincing, isn't it, from James Wade? 105 average. And he just looks very, very good.
Well, he looks very focused, doesn't he? James Wade is exceptionally good at playing the dartboard. We say you mustn't play the play, you play the dartboard. And I think he proved that against Mensa Sulovic in the match play. Mensa went and beat Gary Anderson because Gary got frustrated. But James didn't. He plays his own game. He does it in his own time, his own rhythm. And certainly at the moment, the rhythm of Wade is the telling factor. He's got himself Shanghai on 20s for a 4-1 lead.
James should require 120.
Treble, single, double.
100.
That's perfect for Wade. Of course, no finish for his Australian opponent. Rowe, who was here 12 months ago in the crowd as a spectator.
James should require 20.
Living the dream here on the opening night in Perth. 5-5 for James Wade.
James
Wade is on his way. 4-1. He leads Adam Rowe.
Get him a throw first. Game on.
Difficult, isn't it, to start the event on the opening night, especially for the qualifier. Interesting, Rowe, you know, he only started playing a little while ago. He was out of the sport for nearly a year after having surgery on his shoulder.
He
has the memory of that 95 finish in the second leg so far.
Well, it just shows you how the game can turn. I mean, he took out the 95, absolutely sweet. He had a chance at 116. If he'd have taken that out, you know, then he's back in the game. And James Wade hitting the 5-5 with that third dart with Rowe on 102. It's just brilliant darts at crucial times, which can turn the tide of any game. And it's Wade that's marching on here in Perth. So it is the hardest game to play, the first one. And if it is James Wade to go on to win this, he'll be walking in the practice room laughing at all the other players. His bit of hard work for the day will be over. However, let's not forget, we've seen
97.
was a parry come back from 5-1 down at Michael van Gerwen in Sydney last year, so anything can happen.
World Series is growing in stature, if that was no doubt. All building up to the World Series finals in Scotland, in Glasgow, in November.
58. James, you require 164. 60.
The format of the tournament, we'll see the quarterfinals played over the best of 15, first to 8, the semi-finals first to 10, and the final on Sunday here in Perth.
86.
Best of 21, first to 11.
Require 104. 48.
Oh, we're disappointed with that, James Wade.
Adam, you require
So an outside chance here for Adam Rowe.
And it is the only chances he's really getting on the big checkouts, and he's not going to take the 152 out. He will come back. Missed around the previous leg a little bit on the double, with the 16 for double top. And sometimes
60.
when you're releasing the first dart, getting it out the way on a big number gives you a better rhythm for the second dart. So let's see what Wade he does with this. Well, he's going to waste 2 darts.
Yeah, it was a poor first dart from James Wade.
36.
That really set the tone, didn't it? Missed the big 16. So to stay in it. Already taken out 95. Rowe looking at 92.
Well, he's gone the aggressive route again instead of the bullseye 25, and this time he's not going to get a dart at the double.
52.
That's the problem.
James, you require
You go
20.
for that 25, you almost guarantee yourself a dart at the double. That's a long way off a double 10 for Wade.
Game
But that one isn't
sixth leg.
straight in the middle,
James
and James Wade takes a
7th leg.
5
James
leg to 1 lead here. First game
Game on.
of the Perth Masters here in Australia. So James Wade now looking to close this match out on his throat.
100.
Well, next week will be the 3rd staging of the Sydney Darts Masters. 3 places still on offer for that, for homegrown qualifiers. 3 big qualifying events in the early part of next week in Sydney to go and play on the big stage.
100.
Of course, the Sydney Darts Masters next Thursday, Friday and Saturday at the Qantas Credit Union Arena. If you're in Sydney, in the area, tickets still available. Ticketek.com.au for Sydney Darts Masters tickets. Prize money here in Perth, by the way, $200,000.
137.
James Wade will be chasing a slice of that, help pay for the honeymoon.
I think he may have to need to win it to pay for the honeymoon. I was at the wedding. That was a very nice affair.
58. James, you
It's nice to be able to take
64.
the wives out and see everybody before we made the long trip down here. 24 hours in the air.
60.
James Wade, for the 3rd time in this match, he hits 104. Just dropped to 95, just over the 95 average, but sometimes in the first rounds, averages don't mean a thing. He's just got to get over the finishing line.
James Wade just doing what he has to do. Look for the treble. Well, to be fair, I've given him the big up at the start of the game for being one of the best in the business. He's failed miserably to take out any of his top plus finishes that he's left, but tops the target unless, oh well, he missed the 18. Well, should have had a dart at the ball, he knows it.
72.
That may well be the last dart that Adam Rowe throws in the Perth Darts Masters, as James Wade here looking at tops to round off a convincing victory. James Wade, the first man through to the quarterfinals here at the Perth Darts Masters. Terrific performance from Wade. Coming up next, we